Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube segment, I'm going to be giving you my preview, prediction, analysis of tonight's Game 7, which pits the Milwaukee Bucks against the Brooklyn Nets. It will take place at Brooklyn. And I'm going to tell you, it's been a very evenly matched series. As many of you may know, it's tied up right now at 3. It seems like after one team wins one game, a lot of these analysts and commentators out there seem to swing with that team. I've heard a number of people say they think that Milwaukee's in control because they got that Game 6 victory over the Nets. And I'm a Brooklyn Nets fan, I'll be honest with you. I'm from New York originally. I would say, looking at that game, after Game 6, I could see why a lot of people would think, well, the Brooklyn Nets are going to lose Game 7. I do believe that the Nets will prevail in Game 7. The home team has won all 6 games up until this point in the series. Now, the Nets are not exactly decimated with injuries, but they do have, they have Kyrie Irving. I don't know his status for tonight. I would say James Harden will likely play, and Kevin Durant, of course, is scheduled to play tonight. People have to keep in mind that the role players are going to be playing better when they're at home. They may not have really played exceptionally well in Game 6 at Milwaukee, but I think a lot of these players, of course, are going to be rejuvenated and revived playing at Brooklyn for Game 7. Some people have stated that they think that this is Brooklyn's biggest game since I guess it was like Game 7 in 1956 World Series. That's what I heard from one source. I know the Brooklyn Dodgers actually won the World Series in 1955. But anyway, the thing about it is a lot of this. I just believe when you look at this series, the way it's gone, again, the trend, the tendency is stating that the home team is going to win. It's very hard for a team to go on the road and emerge victorious in a game 7. I don't think it's going to happen this time. The thing about this too, think about this. If the Nets were to lose this game tonight, now I understand they would have some, excuse. There is a difference between excuses and legitimate reasons, right? An excuse could be just stating, well, I wasn't getting all these calls when maybe I should have, or when maybe you could have actually been more aggressive or driven to the basket more instead of shooting from outside constantly. But legitimate reason is, as an example, James Harden not being 100%. I don't know if Kyrie Irving's going to play. If he's not going to play, that could be another legitimate reason. If the Nets were to lose tonight, that could be part of that would be an actual legitimate reason, because there is a difference between excuses and legitimate reasons. But I just look at it like they're going to see this as such a grave disappointment. I think if they don't win tonight, they're going to think, well, we put all these players together. We got James Harden, Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and we could not get out of the second round. And just the fact it could be so demoralizing to lose a Game 7 on your home court and to end the season that way. And I just don't. It's hard for me to envision that it's going to end that way for the Brooklyn Nets tonight. I think they're going to find some pride in themselves. There's question marks whether Kevin Durant is going to have the kind of game that he had in Game 1 of the series. It's going to be I don't think he's going to put up 49 points in this game tonight. He might put up like 38 or close to 40, but I think it could be enough to get the victory. And from my understanding, I don't know if I heard this right or not, but they had stated something about the Milwaukee Bucks record in Game 7s in the past, or it's not exactly stupendous. History can play a little role. I know this is a completely different team than those teams in the past that the Milwaukee Bucks have had. But the Brooklyn Nets, they were put together to, at the very least this season, to get into the NBA Finals, if not win it. And this is it's just the fact that I don't it's just it's hard for me to see them ending the series on such a sour note and in the second round. Uh, Again, I do think the role players are going to play better tonight than they did in Game 6 at Milwaukee. The Nets just have to be careful not to dig themselves into too big of a hole early on. They had that happened in the last game, I believe, against the Milwaukee Bucks, and then in Game 5, I think they were down by like 18, and it was kind of a miraculous comeback by the Brooklyn Nets in order to win that game. And I mean, Kevin Durant had nearly flawless game in order for that to happen. And for me, I don't think Kevin Durant has to be infallible or flawless tonight, but he has to play pretty close to it. I think he's going to get around 40 points, and the Nets are going to get the victory. I think James Harden's presence will be good. I think he's going to play a little bit better than he did in Game 6, and I think those are going to be the differences. If Kyrie Irving plays tonight, it'd be hard for me to say that there'd be really hardly any chance for the Nets to lose, but that has yet. I mean, it may have been determined, but I don't know. Yeah, I have not. I don't know whether he is playing or not, and hopefully he will be playing for the Nets' sake. Um, but anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube segment. Until next time, people, Edwin Learnard saying stay well.